The bye week is in the rearview mirror in Dallas. Cowboys football is back, this time on Sunday Night Football. It's a scary, spooky matchup with the Minnesota Vikings on Halloween night, week 8 of the NFL season. And this is special edition alongside 3 former Cowboys, Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and gentlemen, it's a little bit of time off for the Cowboys, not so much for you guys. We've had a show the last couple of weeks, and we're back again previewing this matchup with the Vikings. But since it is Halloween week, I thought I'd get us into the spirit a little bit. What is the scariest thing for the Cowboys the rest of the season, or what could be the scariest thing for the Cowboys?
Well, coming off this week, I would have to say the scariest thing would be losing our QB1, a.k.a. number 4, a.k.a. Dak Prescott. If we lost Dak Prescott, that'd be the ultimate Halloween fest that we don't want to have to face.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you 100% on that one. We've seen what happened in previous years when Dak Prescott has gone down. This team has basically went to shambles. I mean, he's our QB1, he's our franchise player and bona fide leader. So if we lost this guy, not so sure this season would be as great as we thought it could be.
You know what? I agree with you guys, man. But the next scariest thing, man, is make sure Zeke stay healthy, man. Make sure we keep a running game because we're needed against Minnesota.
The Cowboys with the #1 scoring offense and the #1 overall offense in the NFL at the moment. And, of course, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott playing a huge role into that. But Dak Prescott in the final play of an overtime win over New England, a calf strain. He's been rehabbing it throughout the bye week and now into the week of preparation. So now we shift into Dak Prescott. What is your confidence level that he is, 1, available, and 2, going to be up to par to what he's been playing like lately?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I mean, we've obviously had some calf-esque injuries here in the past. Last year, obviously, we had Martin, and we also have Gallup going on right now as well. So it's something to be worried about and concerned about. But with this training staff, I think we've come to know that these guys can get guys back, and they're not going to put him in a bad position by putting him out there too early.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident as well with Dak Prescott's calf. I mean, calves are a little bit tricky because it's not like he can go out there and push off of it or pretty run sprints on it to test it out because you don't know what's going to make it worse. You don't know what's going to pop it. But like you said, Isaiah, we got one of the best training staffs in the National Football League, and if they feel confident to get him out there, he can still play at that elite level that we've come accustomed to, then I'm all for it. Let's get out there and get some more dubs.
Dak will play. That's the only thing that counts. He will play. Whether they have to get max protection to make sure he don't do a lot of sprint outs and stuff like that, he will play. This is a big game need to be won. He will play.
Dak Prescott is the 6th quarterback through the team's first six games of a season to throw 16 touchdowns, less than 4 interceptions, and have over a 70% completion percentage. 4 of the previous 5 won the MVP award, and they will also be in the Hall of Fame as well. So Dak Prescott has been balling. How about the guys up in front of him as well? La'el Collins is back from a 5-game suspension, and, well, we don't really know where he's going to play, but if he does play at right tackle or at left guard, Mike McCarthy said there's a possibility of both, do you think there will be any rust?
I don't know about rust. Obviously, you know, when you've been out the game for a while, you have to get your feet back underneath you. I think more so in this concern, you're more so concerned about his conditioning and the continuity that he's going to have with his obviously his comrades. So I think no matter where he's at, if it's tackle, whether it's at guard, he'll get his reps and he'll be impactful in those roles.
Yeah, I think there'll be just a little bit of rust when it comes to La'el Collins. I mean, this is a guy who missed out all of 2020. He came back in 2021 for the season opener and then missed 5 straight games after that. And we all know up here to get better at football or even to maintain that level of success, you got to actually play the game. And this guy has not done that in a long time, so I can see a little bit of rust, but I also think he'll get back into shape and get back into that guard or that tackle that we've come accustomed to sooner rather than later.
It'll be a lot of rust because when you playing on the right side and you're the right tackle, you got to lead with your right hand. Everything's directly with your right hand. Now all of a sudden you're going back to something 2 or 3 years ago. Now you got to lead back with your left hand. He's a natural left-handed guy, and it should be easier. But you know what? He's been working with that right. So, yeah, it's going to be some rust and the conditioning. So this guy going to have to come ready, prepared, and doing extra on the field.
Nate, I want to throw it right back at you. Of course, you being the offensive lineman, is this the right decision to leave Terrence Steele, at least at the moment, in that right tackle spot?
I have no other choice but to trust Coach Philbin and what they're trying to do there. Continuity is big. Coach McCarthy's talked about that. He wants to stay close, but if we get into the red zone, we do need some power punch up the middle. So that's the way this guy can be big at.
Lots of decisions to be made for the Cowboys front office and for the coaching staff moving forward with La'el Collins coming back. It really is a good problem to have, having a man of his caliber up front for the Cowboys and certainly coming back from injury. When we come back here on Special Edition, well, I sit down with Cowboys COO Stephen Jones.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army, doing the most good. And by AT&T. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the new Gym 7 scratch tickets. There's a Gym 7 scratch ticket for everyone, so play today.
Welcome back into Special Edition here at the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. We look ahead to Week 8 in the Minnesota Vikings, and Kyle Yeoman's back with you, joined now by Stephen Jones, COO of the Dallas Cowboys. And Stephen, first off, thanks for joining us again as always. But secondly, I hope you got a little bit of rest during the bye week.
Absolutely. It's great to be on, first of all. Secondly, yes, did get a little break here and there. Got to watch some college football. Went and watched the SMU Mustangs, watched the Razorbacks play. So that's always enjoyable. My son's up there with the Razorbacks, so enjoyed that. But the bigger thing I think you and I were laughing about is we want to make sure these players got good and rested for our up-and-coming game against the Vikings. It's a long season, and certainly these byes are important. They let people get healthy, get to catch up a little bit, and hopefully get our team's legs back up under them.
No doubt about it, and you do get some reinforcements. La'el Collins back from a 5-game suspension. What is having him back into the rotation like for you guys as a front office and even as a coaching staff to game plan for some of these teams coming up?
Well, first of all, we do got a formidable foe in the Vikings and their front seven, and what Mike Zimmer brings to the table. He was in this building for many years and did an amazing job as a defensive coordinator here for us. But we'll have our work cut out for us, and certainly having a guy like La'el Collins back, it means a lot to this offense. And one of the things, that really excites me about this football team is our depth. I know we lost Zach Martin to COVID, and Connor McGovern steps right in there, didn't miss a beat. Certainly when La'el had to serve his suspension, Terrence Steele steps in, we don't miss a beat. I mean, that's really been the mantra of this football team is next man up. But to have La'el back, he's certainly hadn't been in the heat of the battle for 5 weeks. So you want to see how that goes in terms of how we work him back into the lineup. But, he's been working this week not only at tackle but some at guard as well, and just giving us the flexibility we need as we go into the teeth of this season. We got 11 games left. Jerry and I were talking, that's a full college football season. So, we've got a lot of games left to play. Mike reminds me, McCarthy, time and time again, I think it took 78 players for him to win a Super Bowl championship that actually played in games. So, to get a guy like La'el back's obviously a big boost for this football team.
Once again, Cowboys, Vikings coming up on Sunday Night Football, a Halloween matchup between two of the best offenses in the NFL. And, of course, Stephen Jones joining us here, presented by Nationwide. Stephen, thanks so much for taking some time. So when we come back here on Special Edition, can the Cowboys slow down Dalvin Cook? He had 140 yards in his last time out against the Panthers. How does Dan Quinn plan to stop him?
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you.
Entering Sunday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings have won 3 of their last 4 matchups, and, well, they've had an explosive offense, to say the least, going through the first 6 weeks of the season. They're also coming off of a bye week in Week 7, now moving in to Week 8. Once again with Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. And, gentlemen, let's start by running through this offense, and starting with Kirk Cousins. 13 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. This was a quarterback that last year at this time had 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. What has he been doing so well?
I mean, you have to chop some of it up to, obviously just his leadership, his preparation, but then also you have Kubiak over there at offensive coordinator who's doing a great job of giving him a lot of different options and concepts within this offense. He has an amazing running back that he's had there for the past few years, and he also has two of the best route runners outside of those guys, running the routes and catching balls from. This offense is doing a great job, but he's doing a great job putting them in great positions.
Yeah, this offensive line is doing a great job protecting them, and he's making great decisions with the football. As you just mentioned, 13 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. And usually the Cowboys have a good knowing of how to deal with Kirk Cousins. But, I mean, even I was a part of some of those victories. But coming lately, this guy's playing some of the best ball of his career. Like you mentioned, 13-2 out there. He has weapons, healthy weapons all around him. So the Cowboys better not sleep on Kirk Cousins, or he may be able to steal one come Sunday night.
Maturity. He finally understands that he don't have to win the game. He just get it to the guys that make the plays for him. And that guy, you see, you got Madison in the backfield, you got Dalvin Cook in the backfield, 2 great running backs. You got your offensive line is stable. His guy's maturing. He's, how you like me now? All those days over with. How you like my weapons and what I'm dealing with? That's what it's going off of now.
Well, let's talk about some of those weapons, and let's start with the wide receivers. Justin Jefferson in his second year, one of the promising young wide receivers in the entire NFL. He'll go up against Trayvon Diggs. Adam Thielen last year against the Cowboys, 8 receptions, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nate, where do you think these wide receivers rank compared to the ones that the Cowboys have already seen?
Man, they're nice because, like my man said, they are route-running guys, and they make big plays. And Jefferson, he dying for the big play. And so these guys are going to be good. And I'm telling you, they're going to be dealing, man, and they're going to be hot for us.
Yeah, this is a dangerous duo right here. I mean, both of them are great route runners. They have excellent hands. And to me, what makes them more dangerous is they come alive in the red zone. These guys are 2 highly targeted guys in the red zone. So to me, this secondary, this will be the toughest task I think this defense as a whole has going to be able to cover so far this season.
Yeah, hands down, these are 2 of the best route runners in the league. You have 1A and 1 little a. You have to pick your poison. Obviously we want Diggs playing the best receiver on the field. I'm not really sure which one of these guys is the best one.
What about Dalvin Cook out of the backfield? Is he even the most reliable weapon for this Vikings offense? Because, well, Dalvin Cook is, at least at the moment, second in the NFL in yards from scrimmage over the last 3 seasons. He's even above Ezekiel Elliott in that category.
Yeah, well, we know Zeke likes to eat. Well, Cook likes to cook. So, I mean, these boys, he's a dude now. I mean, with this offensive scheme, this offensive line, that they're with this zone running scheme, he has all kinds of lanes. These guys aren't just creating holes. These guys are creating valleys. And he really doesn't have to do much. And when you decide that you want to come down and place a hit on him, you better bring your big boy draws.
Yeah, this guy's a monster. I mean, he's one of the most dynamic backs in the NFL. He has the power to go in between the tackles, the speed to bounce it outside and take it 80 yards if need be. And like you said, you better bring your big boy pads when going against this guy, because arm tackles and diving at his ankles, that's just not going to cut it when bringing this guy down.
He's a box buster. We used to bring Church down in that box for that extra guy. But you know what? If you bring Church down this week, he better be ready. Because this dude got the explosives to run through him and the moves to get around him. So he's a box buster.
Well, and the Cowboys are going to try and bust the box of the Vikings defense. Right. On the other side, Mike Zimmer's defense is 6-2 versus #1 offenses throughout his time as a head coach and a defensive coordinator. What does his defense do so well?
Front 7. I mean, you look at all his successful defenses that he's had. He's always had a stout defensive line. He's always had at least one defensive end that you have to worry about, and his linebackers are always big and stout.
Yeah, to me, look, Mike Zimmer-led defense, they're great and everything, but to be honest with you guys, I think the Cowboys, this offense, I don't think there's a defense in the National Football League that wants to deal with this Cowboys offense right now. So, to me, Mike Zimmer's defense, I have no concerns.
Yeah, this defense is tied with the Bears right now with the most sacks in the NFL with 21 entering Week 8 of the NFL season. So they'll get after the quarterback quite a bit on multiple occasions. But when we come back here on Special Edition, Isaiah tells us, are the Cowboys actually struggling in the red zone, or is this a fixable thing for Kellen Moore's offense when we come back?
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. This segment is brought to you by AT&T.
The Cowboys are just barely inside the top 25 in red zone efficiency here in 2021, but Isaiah Stanback, former Cowboy, going to break down why that's not necessarily as concerning as what we've seen in the past from Kellen Moore's offense.
Yeah, it's not as bad as everybody thinks. Yes, we're in the lower half in terms of efficiency in the red zone, but really we're scoring outside the red zone. Let me take you guys on a little field trip and take you all the way back to last year and kind of the development of Kellen Moore and the evolution here of his offense. Last year, right? Last year you had things like this. You had boom, running out, really nobody there. And then we had guys running seam routes with one route here. So you really had a one-side concept, and it was either big play or no play. As you guys will see here, there's a lack of options here, and the ball had to be absolutely perfect in order for us to get a touchdown. Boom, you see the route coming here underneath, and then we're relying on CD to run this perfect route and for Dak to throw a perfect ball. CD's great, but that is not a highly effective play. I'm going to show you guys how this year things are different.
They are a little bit different, and there's no better way to look at it than, hey, guess what? Against the Giants at home in Week 5. It was a mirror image, but not so much of a mirror image from the play call.
Not at all. So you guys saw in that last play, Kellen Moore had really two players that we could throw the ball to. Everybody else was a clear out. That's not really highly effective. Here, I want you guys to pay attention to not only just our splits and how we're lined up here in this stack position here, but I also want you guys to see exactly how these switch releases are allowing for us to beat man coverage. So as you guys will see here, we're going to take Jarwin, we're going to run him all the way across the face of this safety, okay? We're also going to come here underneath on the shallow route, and then we also have a corner route here. We have Zeke coming around on the outside, going to run here on the wheel route, and we have plenty of options that are going to be available to this guy, number 4, and where he can go with the ball, regardless of the coverage that we receive. So, boom, you guys see here. Pause that right there. Look at all the movement we have. On the previous play, you guys saw we had 2 available guys, right? On this play, we got a man going deep. We have a man going to the flat. We have a man going across the safety. We have a man coming right in front of his face, and then we have another man here going to the corner route. There are many options. It's making it very convoluted for the defense. They don't know where we're going to go with the ball, and Dak has guys open all over the place. Amazing ball right here, finding a nice little seam route to Coop. Touchdown.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive throw from Dak Prescott just to find Amari Cooper, but also you could see how the complexity of Kellen Moore's system has already evolved, but he's also done it in the run game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And because our run game has been so effective, what do teams have to do? They have to respect it, right? And then not only does the running game allow you to run the ball, but it allows for you to come out in 13 personnel, okay? So in 13 personnel, we have 1 tight end. We have 2 tight ends. We have 3 tight ends. Oh, and by the way, we have another tackle in the game as well, okay? So we are allowed to come out into our big package. And when you come out in the big package, what are these guys back here thinking? They are all about eyes in the backfield, eyes in the backfield, eyes in the backfield. They are all committing to the run, which allows for you to get your guys out here into these nice little routes and get easy touchdowns as we see here. So let's go ahead and run this play. All right, as you guys see here, look at these guys. Boom. Everybody's eyes in the backfield. In the backfield. What does that allow Jarwin to do? Sneak out the back. Easy touchdowns. It's not just our ability to pass the ball down here. It's our ability to run the ball, and why we're so much more efficient than we were last year.
And with less space to work with from an offensive standpoint, every misstep from the defense helps. So being complex and also respecting the run are 2 things that the Cowboys are going to use to their advantage. How can the Cowboys get another win against the Vikings? They got one last year. Can they do it again this year? We'll give our keys to the game. And why does Barry Church think it's takeaways every single week right here on Special Edition?
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
It's the final segment here of Special Edition as we continue to preview the 26th all-time meeting between the Cowboys and the Vikings. The Cowboys have won 3 of the last 4 meetings. Isaiah, give me your key to making it 4 of 5.
Yeah, make it 4 or 5, we have to win at the second level. We need our linebackers to not get reached, and we need to be able to get past those guys and beat their offensive linemen. We have to be able to win this linebacker game because whoever wins that is going to win this ball game.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be the same key it's been for this entire win streak. We have got to figure out a way to take the ball away. And it doesn't have to be Trayvon Diggs out there. I mean, Parsons, you can go out there and make a couple splash plays. Curse, this D-line, anybody can get after it. But if we continue to take the ball away, I think it's a recipe for success. Defense, let's keep it up.
I tell you what, man, Zim going to try to stop our run, and we're going to have to stop their run because it's going to come down to Dalvin Cook, Zeke, and Pollard. If we can run the ball, we win the game. But if they can dominate, it'll be close and we'll still win by 1.
7:20 p.m. Central Time kickoff on Sunday Night Football on NBC. For Isaiah, Barry, Nate, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Thanks for joining us this week on Special Edition.